On Saturday night, we've got an absolute barnstormer at Sheffield Arena between the cult hero, the Doncaster De La Hoya, Dave Allen, versus the Russian wrecking ball, the absolute monster, Arslanbek Makhmudov, all 6'5" of him, huge puncher, 19 knockouts out of the 20 wins, vast majority of them coming early. He's an incredibly intimidating and enforcing physical stature of a man. Now, when you look at him, clearly the first thing you notice is his power, absolute murderous, concussive, all those superlatives. That is Makhmudov. He's so spiteful, so aggressive, takes center of the ring straight away, early on, just pins you back and will throw everything. He doesn't give a shit whether it's a cross, an uppercut, a hook, a jab. He don't care. He just wants to put his footprint on the fight, and he doesn't care how he goes about it. Not bothered either way where it lands either. He lands to your chest, your elbow, your head, anything. He's not bothered. He just wants to bully you. That is what he is, essentially, a flat track bully that just likes to push you back, and he wants to hurt you, and he's not bothered how it comes about. He's also physically very, very strong. He's got quite a wiry, quite similar to David Price frame, where he's not muscle bound as such. There's not much of him in terms of muscle mass, but you can see when he's in the ring, he does bully people. He does toy them about, throw them about, and effectively just ragdoll them. So he's very, very strong physically, and I feel like he probably will be on the night the strongest person that Dave will have been in the ring with. He's clearly levels above Fisher. His amateur experience is pretty vast. He's boxing the WSB, so when he gets in the Saturday night, he's not going to be the raw novice, young Johnny Fisher, wet behind the ears that Dave fought twice. He's someone that is very clued up, and he will actually have the edge in terms of the experience factor. And as I said, his spite and his aggression is just so pivotal to how he fights. It complements his attributes so well, and when he can put it all together and he feels comfortable, he is one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet early. And I don't think I'm wrong in saying that at all. I really, really fully believe that. There are a few holes in his game. If you're being critical, he has been found wanting when things have got hard against Vianello and also against Cabiel, who granted are both a much higher level than Dave Allen, or certainly Cabiel is one of the finest heavyweights on the planet. Vianello, a former Olympian also, so you probably would say he's a high level than Dave too, but they have kind of shown him that same template. I'm seeing a lot of people talk about the body shots and whatnot, and whilst that clearly is something that Makhmudov has struggled with in the past, I don't think it's as clear cut as all Dave's got to do is just throw a few body shots and he'll fall over. Makhmudov is quite a lot more clever than people are giving him credit for. As I said, physically strong as well, that he'll be able to just lean and hold on Dave if things do get tough in that department, and you'd like to think that he'd probably be able to just evade those situations at least a few times. I don't think he's just going to fall over the first sign of a body shot. His gas tank isn't the greatest either. After a few rounds, he does seem to really blow out of steam. And I think that's what makes him so dangerous and so exciting early on, because he seems to acknowledge that. He seems to know that he's kind of got 3, 4, 5 rounds max to really put it on someone and get him out there. Otherwise, he's in trouble. And he does seem to really up the work rate early on to kind of complement that and kind of make up for it. He does have a tendency to really struggle on the back foot as well. Coming forward, as I said, one of the most dangerous men on the planet. He'll pin you back and he will hurt you. But if you somehow manage to escape unscathed and you then push him back after a few rounds, he does seem to have an element of doubt in his mind, and he does just seem to walk back in straight lines and kind of question himself. Both of those things were displayed in both his last defeats. So I do feel like it's a weird kind of fight where it's extremely dangerous, but also extremely winnable for Dave. It's all about approach, mentality, the physical shape he's in. That's something we know that Dave's not really been the best for in the past, but things are different now. He's surrounded by Jamie and Nigel Travis, who I really do believe are one of the best in the business. They're not going to let Dave get in that ring if he's not 100%, especially against someone like Makhmudov, who could just take his head off within seconds if he's not ready for it. So I really do feel like Dave's in a good place now. In terms of his defensive attributes, I really feel like Dave's actually slept on a bit. I do think people underestimate that he's not just this big punching bag. Everyone always associates those words with Dave Allen. He's a big punching bag, doesn't move his head and whatnot. But when you actually watch him, you slow things down and you look again, he's quite clever. He tucks up, he rides shots pretty well. The odd one gets in, but he is by no means just a Homer Simpson walking forward plodder. He does move his head quite well, and he shows underrated IQ in my opinion, and he's going to need every ounce of that Saturday night because, as I said, Makhmudov is such a devastating puncher early on. He is going to have to ride the shots a little bit, think a little bit, and I do think that's something we will see, to be honest. I think we'll see him try and, not necessarily old man Makhmudov, because as I said, Makhmudov's actually the more experienced man, been in boxing longer and accomplished things at a much higher level. But I do believe he'll feel comfortable using his experience he's picked up in previous fights. I feel like, again, Dave Allen is so much better than what people give him credit for, what people have actually seen. The fact he's gone in with the guys like Luis Ortiz, Tony Yoka, Dillian White, fat as a pig, in all honesty, zero training camp, nowhere near ready, but still survived the rounds he has with them and hung in for as long as he has, is obviously a testament to his chin as well as just natural toughness and his grit. But you also can't just do that by just having a good chin. You've also got to be clever, ride shots at times. Otherwise, these guys at this level will just take your head off. So I do feel like that is something that people don't really pay attention to. I think Dave is a lot more clever than he gets credit for. Not the greatest feet in the world, but definitely in terms of his IQ, it's very good. And that's going to be so important Saturday night. It really is. We've also seen that, especially in the recent win against Johnny Fisher, when he lets his hands go and he's confident, he invests in the body, he's actually a very, very capable fighter. I mean, the finishing combination to put Johnny Fisher away was actually really impressive. It was actually quite quick for Dave Allen, to be honest, the way he let those hands go. It was a joy to watch. And again, I feel like that is going to be a real key. It's going to be a real key early on, investing in the body. Like I say, Makhmudov does have holes in his game which relate to the body shots, but I feel like it will just take a lot more investment than people are actually saying. I don't think it's going to be one shot and he's gone, but it's certainly something that I believe that him, Jamie and Nigel will consider and take into the ring with him. In terms of his weaknesses, we have seen that he can go in that kind of sparring partner mentality. He's been guilty of it. Just basically watching the rounds go by, not the highest work race at all. And that is something he's got to cut out to an extent, certainly, because otherwise Makhmudov will just run him over. He'll just drown him. He'll just throw 20, 30, 40 to Dave's one shot and he could really hurt him. So I believe that Dave is going to have to really, really be sensible about how he approaches this. But at the same time, I do think that we will see 2 or 3 rounds of Dave Allen doing nothing, purely just tucking up, feinting and allowing Makhmudov to come onto him and waste his own shots. He's not the most accurate either, Makhmudov. He's not the most economical with his shots, bearing in mind his gas tank isn't the best. So yeah, I believe that Dave will spend the first few rounds just kind of sussing him out, feinting, not doing much, but letting Makhmudov come forward to him. That's when he then, in my opinion, will start investing in the body a little bit more, pushing him back and putting him in a place where he doesn't feel the most comfortable. And if he does survive that storm, I feel like Dave has got a really, really cracking chance to win the fight. I really do. As I say, if he puts his shots together, obviously this isn't Johnny Fishery's fight, it's Makhmudov to a much higher level, but I feel like in terms of the gas tank and the holes in his game, Makhmudov, that could really play in Dave's hands. And that's where I feel like he'll be able to pin him back and let his hands go and really grow into the fight. As I said, Makhmudov is not the best at all fighting on the back foot. And I do feel eventually the Russian giant will fall eventually, just with sustained pressure. And I feel also his mentality may check out a little bit once he's hitting Dave with everything he's got and he's absolutely shattered and Dave's just still standing there with his pot belly ready to go. I feel like that will be as big of a factor as the physicality will. And I really do genuinely believe this is Dave Allen's time, and I do feel we will see a stoppage from the White Rhino around just after midway point. I feel like around 7 to 9, that is where we'll see the knockout, an accumulation of bodywork, pressure, and just grit and just relentlessness. I really do feel like this is the time frame. Boxing is all about timing. I feel like the people he's surrounded with, the fact he's always around his kids and the kind of, you know, the young lads he's taken on, like Joe Hayden, Joe Howarth are also on the card. I just feel like all the stars are aligning for a big performance from him. And I feel like this is genuinely the best version we could possibly see of Dave Allen. In terms of his shape, I don't expect him to look body beautiful whatsoever come Friday at the weigh-in. He will still have that pot belly, and you will still, people say, oh, it's a disgrace, he's going to get knocked out early, blah, blah, blah. But I do expect it. And to be honest, you'd be absolute bonkers coming in light against Makhmudov. You need your punch resistance. You need a bit of strength to keep him off and keep him at bay. So Dave may come in or 3 pounds lighter than Fisher, but he's not going to lose a lot, and it'd be stupidity if he did, to be honest. So he's not going to look the greatest in the scales, but all that matters is how we'll look in the ring. But yeah, for me, it will be a Dave Allen stoppage. Let me know in the comments what you think and how you feel the fight will play out.